It was announced that guard Aaliyah Matharu would be starting in place of forward Rakia Jackson. Jackson was said to be benched due to a violation of team rules. They really focused on having a well-balanced offensive attack this season. That's where the Bulldogs have found so much of its success. There were a lot of question marks surrounding the quarterback position for Starkville heading into the season. However, sophomore quarterback Trey Petty has silenced any of those questions. By the grace of the March Madness gods and also 2 wins to close out the regular season, the Rebels once again are right back on the NCAA tournament bubble. What do you think just changed between that 2019 offseason to the 2020 season?
Oof, well, 2019.
8 teams will spend the next roughly 10 days fighting it out in the College World Series, each team hoping that their team will become a national champion. Even if coaches could recruit in person, it wouldn't matter. The Mississippi High School Athletics Association adding another barrier because of how explosive the Green Wave can be. Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin has been saying they've been preparing against the Green Wave as if they're any other SEC opponent. History is brewing for Alabama men's hoops. While the Crimson Tide is no stranger to SEC titles in football, basketball, on the other hand, is a different story. Tonight, a brand new age began in Oxford as Ole Miss welcomed home a new leader, head coach Lane Kiffin. The time has come for legendary Saints quarterback Drew Brees to call it a day on his 20-year career in the NFL. Kevin Graham at the plate. He came to mash some taters, launches this one, and got some beer showers in return. Rebels take a 3-1 lead. Under 8 remaining in the half, guard A.J. Lawson wide open, drains the 3. South Carolina up 1. Next possession, Rebs. Schuler saying, hey, not so fast. He pulls up on the wing, knocks it down.
The home of Mississippi State baseball, Dudy Noble Field, is known for its fantastic atmosphere. After all, Dudy Noble set an NCAA Super Regional attendance record with 14,385 fans. There's one fan who stands out amongst the rest. Some know him as 68-year-old MSU alumni Ron Caulfield. However, most know him as the Mississippi State Candyman.
I can tell if nobody knows me because they're like, ugh. But then somebody will sit around and go, he's the Candyman. Take it. It's okay. It's okay.
Caulfield has been a recognizable face at Mississippi State athletic events for the last 22 years. He's most known for being the smiling face handing out candy throughout Polk Demott Stadium during baseball games.
People would ask my name and I say, well, I pass out candy. You're the Candyman.
Yet, the origin of the Candyman story doesn't begin with fellow Bulldogs. Instead, it all started with some friendly Texas A&M fans Caulfield met in the late 90s.
They brought 3 bags of candy. They said, you need to pass it out at the ball game, at baseball. I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about that. They said, well, you are.
From there, the rest was history, and the Candyman was born.
Passed out the candy. People went nuts. The adults were worse than the kids. I mean, anybody from 2 years old to 96 were fighting for a penny piece of candy.
At every Mississippi State baseball game, you can find Ron on the third base side holding this 15-pound bag of candy and distributing as much as he can to fans sitting around.
People want to holler and support the team, but they don't want to be the first one to holler. So you got me. I'm loud. I'm going to make you holler. If you get candy, you're going to holler.
The tradition for Ron isn't a cheap thrill. Caulfield estimates that he spends nearly $2,000 a year keeping a constant stash piling up in his closet. For the Candyman, it's a small price to pay for what he gets in return.
Some young man or young lady will come up, maybe a sophomore in school here or whatever, and they'll go, I remember when I was 6 years old. And I thought, well, that leaves an impression on them.
As to how long the Candyman plans to be a staple at Bulldog baseball games?
As long as God's willing.
50 years ago, a decision by one man, Coolidge Ball, changed Ole Miss athletics forever. This past weekend, the university honored Ball for that decision. Take a look.
A trailblazer is a pioneer. It's someone who paves the path so that others can follow. For Ole Miss athletics, the name of that trailblazer is Coolidge Ball, a man who accepted a basketball scholarship in 1970 and became the University of Mississippi's first African-American student athlete.
And in doing so, moved our university and our state forward.
On August 6, 1970, Ball signed the Rebels' lone remaining basketball scholarship. While he had interest from other schools, Ball chose to be the first and become a forward at Ole Miss.
A decision that created positive ripple effects for decades and has set the stage for so many other minority student athletes to have the opportunity to attend our beloved Ole Miss.
The story of Ball's courage 50 years ago concluded on the Ole Miss campus as the Rebels quite literally cemented Ball's legacy with a bronze statue. The figure set in stone outside the pavilion serves as a reminder of Ball's impact on the institution. It was a day Ball himself said he could never have imagined.
I'm just proud to have this statue, and it's just not only for me, but it's for the university from here on, you know, and it's a great tribute to me and my family, and we're just so excited about it.
You know, we're going to honor Coolidge as the first black scholarship athlete, but really we're going to honor him on so many other fronts. Not only what kind of player he was, but when you watched him play, he had such a humble disposition, his grace.
Ball went on to have a great career playing for the Rebels. He earned first-team All-SEC honors and graduated from Ole Miss in 1975. However, Ball's most remarkable accomplishment as the Rebels' first is ensuring that he was not the last.
I know what it's like to be the first, and I'm going to talk to him about that and how he has inspired even me and the type of legacy that I want to leave for my children and the people that come behind me.